Welcome to the Tomball Museum Series, Episode 2, by Handcrafted by J.R. Broussard. I am Greg Broussard, and this is the plane we're going to cover today. A nice Rabbet plane. This measures 9.5 inches long, which is typical for this era of plane, and it's 1.5 inches wide. It's made for making rabbets into boards, just like this. And you have the ability to cut 1.5 inches deep inside this piece of wood, or you can adjust it smaller as I did here. This plane is clearly marked Chapin-Stephens, and Chapin-Stephens, they merged in 1901 with Chapin & Son, and the president of the firm was Frank Mills Chapin, son of Edward Chapin, and grandson of Herman Chapin. In 1929, the firm was dissolved, and Stanley acquired the line of rulers, but not, and disconnected the line of these planes. So this plane dates about 1901, probably 1905. You can see in front of me a different assortment of planes that basically do the same job of this. So through development, through technology, planes became a lot better and a lot more efficient. Going from this plane to this plane, this is a plow plane, and this will cut rabbets, and it'll also cut grooves in a board. It has an adjustable fence on this one, and you still have to adjust the iron by tapping it with a hammer and a mallet to adjust everything on this plane, but it's got a fence that you can reference for your workpiece. This is a Stanley number 45, and it came with a box of cutters like this. Originally, this is a Type 1, probably 1890s version, and it came with a box of cutters similar to this. Original box came with 23 cutters in it. Still has the original sticker on there. It says Stanley number 45. This plane replaced all the wooden planes. It has a bunch of different cutters you can put in, and it replaced all the wooden ones. Then they came out with a number 55. This is about a 1910 model, and you can see how intricate this is. It looks very challenging to use. It comes with 2 fences. This does even more operations than the 45 does. This comes with a box of, I don't know what, that many cutters that comes with a box. A bunch of cutters are in there. You can change the cutter right here. It's got many different cutters you can put in here. So all these planes replace this one. This is one of the original ones. Also, this is kind of cool. It's got a marking on the inside of it. I don't know what that, it's a B, but I don't know what that means. But that was marked in there. Who knows what that was put in there. So let's go ahead and let's get this cleaned up and get this ready to use for the museum. Before we take this apart, let me just take a few swipes with it. I have adjusted the iron just a little bit. You can see the shavings coming out. Let's go ahead and go a little bit farther down with the iron. To advance the iron, you can hit it in the front. Tap the wedge in just a tiny bit. That should advance the iron. There we go. Now the iron is advanced, and you can see the shavings will get out of it. Now this is hardwood, this is oak, and this is what this is for, is cut a rabbet. Now, like I said before, we can go pretty wide with it, and it's skewed also, which means it's sideways, or at an angle. So let's go ahead and take this apart, and see if we can make it perform better. That shocks that wedge out. Here's the wedge, and here's the cutter. And it does not look like this thing is flat. So we need to make this flat, straight, and true in the front. I set this gauge up where you can see that it's not perfectly flat. You see that curve to it? There's a space on either side of this. So we're going to go ahead and make this make that true. I'll show you how I'm going to do that. So all I'm going to do is move my tool just like barely above where I can put the bad part of the iron on the back side of the cutter part. Barely, like right on it. And then I'm just going to mark it with my marker. Okay, now I got something to reference off of. Okay, I marked it again. Right on the very tip, there's a mark. let's go grind this down. All I'm going to do is follow my drawn line on there. I'm going to take that down. I'm going to watch my line. Okay, I grinded it down, and I kept my original tool the same, and I got it flat. So there's no daylight in there. Okay, what I want to do is make sure that the flat of the back of my iron is completely flat. And then we'll work on the bevel part. You can see it's starting to hollow, and then we'll try to get light. Here we go. You see how this is coming off and this is coming off. There's a hollow here, and it's not hitting the edges yet either. This has to be completely flat, yeah, just about, you know, a little bit, so we can sharpen. It's super important that we get that right. So a friend of mine, the guy behind here, he does barn doors, and I was talking to him, and he's got one of those round discs that spin, and you put water on it. So I finished it up on that, and it came out really, really, really nice on his machine, and it saved a huge amounts of time on this iron. So basically now what I'm going to do is just run it on the strop and just charge it, and let's go ahead and get that super fine edge on here, and this plane should be done after this. Let's go ahead and hit it on the strop. Go. Look at this iron. I got it really sharp. There's some compound on there. You can see how polished that is. Really super sharp. Look how flat the back of it is. No burr. This thing is wow, it's unbelievable sharp. It's ready to be put in the plane. Let's do a test cut. Let's get the iron in here. Wedge. Okay. All right. We're going to set the depth of the wedge. Okay. All right, let's do a test cut with this. Okay, I set the fence. This really isn't adjusted, and I'm going from straight without that cut. So that's the iron is way too deep. So I got to back the iron out, and we have to back it out by hitting, of course, the back of it. And let's reset the wedge. Okay. Now to advance it a little bit, you can hit the front of the iron. And I'm watching my iron, so see if it protrudes out the front of this, and I don't think that it is. Okay, it's not. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the advance a little bit. But also you can tap the end of the iron. So I got a ways to go. Let's see if it's protruding. Lateral adjustment is hitting the iron left and right to center the iron on the in the housing. There we go. Let me get my wedge down. All right, we're going against the grain. That's fine for demonstration purposes. Now I've got the Rabbet established. You can see, actually, you can take the fence off now. Once you've got it established, you don't need the fence anymore. And I am going against the grain, but make it a little bit deeper going against the grain. It's a kind of a heavy cut too. Oh yeah, very nice. Let's see what we got. Now, this is a scrap piece, of course, but look how clean this is, even against the grain. So we've got this this Rabbet plane 100% ready to go. Well, that about wraps it up for this Chapin-Stephens 1901, 1905-ish Rabbet plane. In Europe, it's referred to as a rebate. This is 1.5 inches. It's absolutely 100% sharp. I don't think there's any reason to clean this. I don't think there's any, I don't need to do anything to this like I did with the compass plane. This one is 100% functioning. When I buy my planes, typically this is what I do. I just take care of the iron, make sure it's sharp, make sure it's right, angles are right with it, and then make sure I can adjust it. That's it, and I use them. So this is an actual usable plane, kept the angles right. This thing is super, super unbelievably sharp, and it works beautifully. So there we go. Early 1900s, Chapin and Stephens Rabbet plane.